listen up. Okay, listen up. Okay, listen up. Okay, listen up. Okay, listen up. Okay.
Hello everybody, this is Hubba Bubba Doopy Doo. Another day. I plan on cleaning up and rust proofing the area where the taillight module goes. Reconnecting the trunk electric lock. What else? Oh yeah, and pressure wash the molded carpet. Molded, not mold as an organism, molded as in made to shape. There's carpet pieces that go in the trunk of this Buick Reatta. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 individual pieces. They're held together with Velcro, and it's just like a gray carpet with like a hard backing, and they get it hot on a hot mold. You just lay it there for a few minutes and take it off, let it cool. That's how a lot of your carpets are made. People don't realize it's not the carpet; it's the backing. You get it hot and bend it and let it cool in place, and there you go. Yeah, I gotta wash the carpet and get the rear area ready for the taillight module, and then I can wrap up that whole thing and begin some under hood work, and then I'll lift it up and begin what's going on under the car. New front brake lines right from the ABS module to the wheel, nickel copper line, new rubber hoses on both sides in the front and the rear. I have a new rear rubber hoses. There is only one brake line that goes to the rear of this car. It's a 3-channel ABS. There's one brake line that goes to both wheels in the rear. That's just how they did it back then, and that's all new. It's got armor on it and everything. The what do you call it? The stainless steel coil armor. I just kind of put it on kind of half-assed before I went in the hospital, and it's not really the greatest job, whatever, but it worked to get the car back here. And then it sat here for a couple of years. But the rear rubber hoses, I haven't replaced those, and they're original. And those are very, very deadly. You'll think it's just fine, and all of a sudden, boom, it pops, and you have no brakes. It's just like a carotid artery bleeding out. Especially with a system like a Buick Reatta has, that electric motor with the accumulator in a Tevis Mark V anti-lock brake system. If you lose your all your fluid in one circuit, there really isn't a great proportioning system. It's like a worst case scenario. You pop a front brake line, okay, you will have rear brakes, no problem. And the accumulator and all that's got nothing to do with the front brakes. As far as I know, it's just the rear brakes application. I have no idea how they work. A lot of Reatta owners have gotten, fed up with the death trap on wheels that is a Buick Reatta. All of a sudden, the overcomplicated braking system just says, I'm all done after 35 years. and you go to put the brakes on, and oops, it goes to the floor, and you have nothing. And then, of course, the pump to set parking brake is basically useless if you're going down the road. You're gonna sit there and pump the pedal like, you know what I mean? You're gonna pump the pedal like this, and it's like three pumps to make it activate, and that's just push the their disc brakes in the rear. But it's just a bullshit parking brake. It's not electric like nowadays. Those are really nice until the motor dies. But braking systems on cars have come a long way, yes, but people, especially young people, I see drive. They do what's called late braking, where they don't realize you have a vehicle that weighs how many thousand pounds, and your trucks going up the road. You have a vehicle that weighs thousands of pounds. You're moving at X miles per hour. Therefore, that kinetic energy that engine or electric motor is putting into that mass of a vehicle to make it move makes it heavier. Momentum is a nickname. I don't like to say momentum because that, I don't know. But when you put energy into a mass, you impart that kinetic energy into it, and then it is released. That's what happens when you throw a baseball. Your kinetic energy is your muscles, and then you let it go at the right time, and all of that builds up like a bomb, like a spring, and it lets go. And all that kinetic energy is imparted into the mass of the baseball. That's why you can throw a 1 pound lead weight way further than a 1 ounce lead weight. And you can do that at home. Just take a tiny rock, throw it as hard as you can, and measure it. Now take a little bit larger rock, a nice little hand-sized rock, throw that as hard as you can. Woo, that thing goes way further. Why? Because it's got more mass. Mass is like a battery. When you impart kinetic energy into it, you use that mass as a capacitor, because now that mass wants to give off that energy. It doesn't want to hold on to it. Okay? It wants entropy. It wants to be where it was. So if you don't have any gravity or any outside influence, a moving body tends to keep moving. Okay. Yeah. Until it's met by a resistance. Gravity pulling it down, atmosphere dragging on it, hitting a solid object, And then, okay, you take that object like a rubber ball, right? And you threw it. You're imparting your kinetic energy into it to make it move. It's accelerated, moving towards the wall. When it hits the wall, all that kinetic energy is rebounded, yes, because the rubber is flexible and there's air inside of it, but that moving makes it rebound. If you just took a rubber ball with air in it, like a basketball, and just put it up to a wall and let go, it would just fall. If you pushed on it and flexed the rubber and compressed the air that's inside of it and let it go, it would push back that far. If you throw it, then it's going to come back that harder. See, that's how that works. So, okay. Lesson over. Let's light this. Oh, Jesus. Let's light this candle. This is yesterday was the 4K 60 feet per second. Ridiculous rendering and stuff. I think the audio came out nice with this microphone. It's a what the heck is this called? Syntec microphone. I think it works pretty well. Well, now today I'm recording at 2.7K at 60 feet per second. So we're going to find out together how that is. Hey, here's my tool bags. Don't you love those? Hey, they're free. Be back in a minute to get you. Well, I like that pause feature. That's nice. $115 AC, 60 hertz. I'm glad I don't have to deal with the ridiculous voltages that a guy like Ants Pants, Adris, that guy's awesome, man. I love him. I hope he's okay, though. You know, he doesn't want to let on that, you know, his country and area and everything is like, it's just going through a lot of turmoil. Those poor people. And it's just like here, you know, we got our woes. If you occasionally hear an airplane go by, like right now, I live right next to an airstrip. I live right next to a local airport. It used to be a lot bigger when I was a kid. I think it was called Mohawk Valley Air. Don't quote me on that. But I just got to knock off a little bit of big things here on it, and then I'll begin. I'll begin with the pressure washer, so those get to, you know, cleaning, and then I gotta hit them again, and then hit them with the shop vac, and that'll lift out the whatever left behind, and then I'll get to work on the rear end where the brake light module goes. Excuse my limp, I only have one knee. That's what happens when you're morbidly obese most of your life. Your joints and organs and everything, you know, just because you're, I mean, they're different a little bit between men and women, but if you're morbidly obese, or if you're really, really tall or something, like, you don't have any, you know, your heart is just like everybody else's, your kidneys are just like everybody else's, your liver is just like everybody else's. You don't have some kind of magical organs. You hear people, you know, I can drink this much or alcohol. Hey, it's called building up a tolerance. It only works for a little while. Not going to get on my high horse about that. I am a recovering alcoholic. I will admit that to the world, even though I don't hang my nose out and every 10 seconds in a video. But if you just pay attention to my videos, yeah, you get an idea what I look like. Whatever. This is what I was calling the molded carpet. See? This backing is like a hard kind of resin. And you take the piece of carpet that's big enough, and you just lay it on the hot mold and let it sit there for a few minutes. And you take it off and you put it into a cooling jig, which is just basically a big piece of aluminum that's been molded out that way. And they put some mold release on it, which is basically just Pam cooking spray. It's basically what it is. And that's why, like, you know, you can mold carpet wherever you want, you know, however you want. You just got to get it hot. I got it up here at the top corner of the driveway because it angles down. It'll angle down towards the camera. Now, what am I washing these with? Well, I got my Tiger cordless electric pressure washer. What do you call it? Jumbo Tainer, 7-gallon. Jug. Reliance. That's the name of the company, and they make things called jumbo tainers. This is one of them. 7 gallons. It's got a handle here. You can lay it down. It comes with a spigot that attaches to this cap. It's got a nice neoprene gasket on it and stuff. And you can lay it down and use it, you know, like for water. I don't use it for any kind of potable water. I'll never drink out of this because this has held all kinds of, you know, like bug juice and cleaner, like what I have in here right now, disinfectant. I'm always using the leaf blower around my patio area, and I keep it clean, and I I spray some, watered down disinfectant on the area, because everything you track in, you're bringing in your house. I like the Japanese, how they, you take your shoes off before you go in the house. And a lot of people are beginning to do that more and more, hopefully. Okay, because if you have pets, or if you have little babies crawling around, everything you track outside, you track in the house. Now your baby's crawling around. Hand goes to mouth, hand goes to eye, boom. Whatever you just walked in, tracked in, who knows? You got a resistance, you got a immunity system, but that doesn't mean you tax it constantly. And our immune system nowadays is really, really tone deaf, if you want to call it that, because it's so manipulated. Okay, so here's a Tiger pressure washer, and they only made these for a couple of years. I mean, discontinued them right before COVID. I got this in 2019. Yeah, 2019. It comes with 2 batteries and a charger, 20 volt. It you don't use pressurized water. It has a pump, and that also cools the motor. It's got 2 speeds. I never use minus. It's got a rotating nozzle. You can have jet, spray, just 3 different nozzle grades here. And here's your connection, your hose connection. Here's a label, Tiger Auto Incorporated. It's good to take if you're camping or something and near a water. It's got 30-foot hose. I just took the spigot off. I keep it down in there anyway, and just reel the hose out of the hole. I put a magic marker red line on it when you don't pull it up out of the water. On the end of it too, you can take them all off and stuff, put them back on. The end of it has a filter, not really. It's like a barrel screen kind of thing. That way you can put it right into a river, and it won't eat any dirt or anything. So it's pretty convenient. You can't use ocean water. They tell you don't use ocean water. Of course, it would eat it. That's obvious. And it's got a lock here. Not real. Not a lock. You can't pull the trigger. See? And this tells you to hold for 15 seconds after you draw it. It tells you don't point it at people. This really isn't much more than a super soaker, maybe. But it's a cordless electric water gun. Okay. There's that nozzle. You turn it and click. There's that. And then there's that. So I'm going to do this is cold water, all laundry detergent, a high efficiency kind, in 4 gallons of water. There's about a quarter of a cup of detergent and about a quarter cup of Lysol laundry sanitizer. Now, this is pretty concentrated, so I'm going to use this to just kind of pre-wet everything. That way I'm not trying to chase a dry carpet. After I hit them with the power, wait about 10 minutes, hit them again, and then I'll hit it with the shop vac. It's pretty weak and watered down. That way I'm not trying to You know, you don't want to leave tons of residue behind. It's good to leave the residue of the antiseptic though, yeah. So that'll keep it from, if you don't add some kind of disinfectant into your cleaner like this, that water will attract all kinds of nifty creatures and make it worse. That's why a cracker doesn't mold. Nobody wants it. Put a piece of nice home fresh bread out there. Oof, 2 seconds. And then put a Whopper on your dashboard and leave it there for a few months. Unwrap it. Oh, it's not moldy. What do the germs know? If a germ doesn't eat it, you don't eat it. Unless you have to. I mean, like a antibiotic. you can Z-pack yourself right into the ground. Believe me, it almost happened to me. I had such a bad reaction to the diabetes one time. That's when I was in the hospital. It almost killed me. I went totally septic. And then I was C. diff, which is all of your flora and fauna just died. Yeah, this is a lot like a rug doctor. Without moving though. It's like painting almost, you know, you want to chase that wet line, overlap a little bit. Got the nozzle as close as possible. Not really a lot of power here. Right before I rinse them, I'm going to hit it with a broom. That's about as good as I can do. I'm not getting down with it with a brush. This isn't a Lamborghini, folks. It's the trunk of my car. It's going to be a lot cleaner than it was, though. I know that. That was, you watched the last video I'm about to put out. I'm almost done rendering it right now. Yesterday's video. With the dead baby mice, you know, that wasn't very happy. I feel bad for every creature. It doesn't know any better. It's just trying to reproduce, and it's cold, and this is a comfortable place to have your babies, and then it leaves. It doesn't know any better. It's not a calculated, you know, evil thing. I'll just put it that way. I had unprotected intercourse because I don't give a crap about nobody or nothing, not even myself. And then I put the baby in a garbage can. Yeah. I've never heard of an animal doing that. The only animal I know that does it is a human. Yeah, you know what caused the Black Plague in Europe and killed 1/3 of Europe? Nasty humans. Nothing to do with fleas or rats or anything else. You sit there and blame the animal. Blame the human. That's the nasty animal. Everybody dumping their chamber pots all over the place. Basically a toilet. Horses pooping all over the place. Nobody cleaning it up. No antibiotics of any kind to fight anything. They didn't know. Of course there's fleas on rats. That's a parasite that's on a wild animal. Oh, now what are the rats eating? The rats are eating a bunch of contaminated garbage. Then the fleas bite them and transfer that. And, oh, we think it's this, we think it's that. Yeah. It's like the total BS. A bat killed all those millions of people. Yeah. Okay. That's just typical evil, you know. You can blame the poor animal for all the maladies of man. Oh, the devil's a snake. Yeah. No, he's not. Oof, almost out of water here. Gotta go get some more. One thing about this, it uses a lot of water. And I'm back. I didn't even add any more soap. Just a few more gallons of water. I don't like to make up more than I can use, because then what if I gotta do something else, you know? It's just a waste. Here's the difference with the plus and minus. This is plus. Oops. Not. Oh, yeah, you can tell it's not plugged in. The hose isn't plugged in right. There we go. You take the hose off and it bleeds the hose out and the whole thing. Come on. You can tell it's not clicked in all the way. The few problems that these have. I don't have the end of the hose attached to the bottom of the container, so the hose is coiled up inside the container. And if it's up out of the water, I've had that happen before. Come on. You can just tell there's water, air in the line. So here's plus and here's minus. You know, gentle, like water your flowers or some shit. I'm not trying to use the pressure washer like a brush, you know. It's just putting the cleaner into it. Because of that resin that's on the back of it, the water doesn't bleed through really. There's a little bit, you know, with these old cars, they used to put like a clear plastic down under the carpet. Yeah, because they knew people would, you know, eventually make a mess or some shit. You want to do as much as possible to keep it away from the metal, you know, of the body. It lets water go through to a point, you know. It's not really porous. It's not like a hard backing or something, you know, on it. People think I'm weird out here talking to myself. Then they see the camera. I guess the novelty of being a vlogger has kind of worn off, you know. It's not such an oddity that it was even 10 years ago. You know, because the possibility is there. You don't got to get a rig like I have. You can just use a phone. What a lot of people do, they just use a phone. There's even things you can buy for your phone. Like my microphone, that comes with a phone cord. I can plug it into a phone, to the the headphone jack. Microphone's capable of that. Everything rechargeable now, and batteries and stuff. You got lights and audio. Like the camera I'm recording right now. It's $82. Jeez. About 20 years ago, that'd be $3,000 or $4,000, believe me. And you can look it up too. Go on eBay and look for an old digital video camera. Right before right after they went from tape to digital, removable SD card, secure digital card. I could put a piece of tape over a floppy and you couldn't record it, right? Yeah, it's almost the same thing. But passwords are for dummies. Okay. I'll give you a switcheroo here. Dan Bongino switcheroo. Now this is the under part. You see, it's just kind of dirty, really. It's not like the top side. And that bullshit Velcro they put on it to hold the pieces together. Well, the glue left the chat long ago. Velcro doesn't let go though, but the glue they use to hold it on does. That's what those black lines are, Velcro. Actually sewn into the material. After they mold it. Quite an elaborate process. I mean, just for carpet for a trunk. Jeez. You don't see that nowadays in cars. Everybody's so worried about, infotainment. How about looking out the window? These kids nowadays, they'll set a table full of kids and they're all looking at their cell phones. All looking at the smartphone. It's like, hello? This one, the back of it's got a number 3 written on it. I don't see any numbers on anything else. Yeah, it's my local volunteer fire department. All hours of the day and night. And the ambulance corps is volunteer too. use this here as, let me see. Yeah, I got enough for a little once over. Get this out of the way here. I got enough left over for a little once over after I hit him with the broom. I don't like to disconnect the hose every time because then you got to prime it. So you just carefully leave it there. It's not really a way to holster it. It looks like it's about to rain. It's pretty overcast. Really heavy clouds. But it's not like it's getting dark or anything. It's, you know, middle of afternoon, early evening. Okay, you're looking at that long enough. Now we're going to switch attention to the rear end. Everybody should love that nowadays, right? Oh, let's see here. Well, you don't want to look at my carcass in the way. Put it off to the side. And there we go. Oh. So what's next? Okay, this is one of the new license plate lights, and this is just the one part that goes in. Just plugs into your existing 194 socket, and it comes with another socket with a nice pigtail and everything. I got these off of Amazon, I think, yeah. And it's a nice 3 cob LED, nice bright white, little lens in front of it, all waterproof. It's all potted. What I'm going to do is take the license plate light out, okay, clean it up a little bit. I'm going to take my Dremel and wheel off this big socket edge here and just make it flush with this part, okay? And I'm going to drill a 1/2-inch hole in the middle of this and mount it with epoxy on the inside lip of it. Mount it to that polycarbonate lens. I have actual epoxy meant for that that I bought for things, and it'll be just like this, which will be beautiful. It'll be pointing right at the what used to be the reverse light. These are coming out. It's just a big hole right there. I got plastic to put in behind there, and the Bondo and all that stuff when I do some body work that I got for a little bit, and then before the paint job. But these reverse lights, I mean, this one's all broken anyway. This one's all messed up and just hanging there, and you know, there's nothing in it anyway. So it's just going to be a big hole there, and this will be perfect. It'll be pointing right at that area. I was thinking about putting them on the taillight module. I could do that too. Okay, because the bottom of the taillight module is like right about here, but it would hit right on the license plate. That's how close it would be, and it would be too bright. So why not just use this area that's already here, you know? And then after I attach it to the license plate, the old license plate light, okay, and just make that one unit. Actually paint this, and like, you know, gloss, the SEM gloss black that I have, and put that whole unit back in, and you know, make it an actual light fixture again. Yeah, because this is not acceptable. I mean, you know, they're all crazed and cracked and broken, and no, I'm tired of that. I wouldn't even pass inspection anyway. Well, why don't you just get rid of the car and go get an EV? Yeah. I'd rather hang myself. I'm not kidding either. You couldn't give me one of those damn things. Hey, here's a new Tesla. No, thanks. Not interested. Not interested. You know, when the wiring is already here, I'll just run extra wire up to what I'm doing here. I gotta pull this little pin. I forgot to pull it out when I was doing this yesterday. One of these, what do they call it? Push pins? Plastic nails. I've heard all kinds of names for them over the years. These are the really old kind, you know, more than 30-something years, where it has an actual middle piece. These might not be the right tool. I have an actual, you know, panel tool, but there would be no room to get that in here. And that's why they don't use this kind anymore. You know what? I've come to believe that a Buick Reatta was built by people. They had good intentions. Okay, they had good intentions, but it was like a bunch of feel-good things. You know, hey, this is cool. Let's do this. Hey, this is cool. Let's do that. Usually the people that propose whacked out ideas like that have no idea about engineering. Now they just think, oh, you know, you can make this, you know, well, yeah, to a point. To a point you can get away with that, but point you can get away with that, but after a while you gotta start answering for the practicality of what you're trying to do, the longevity. And it just comes back to the thing where, well, how often is this device or vehicle or whatever, how often is it going to be driven? How much is it going to be used, you know? That's why, like, vehicles like a Ferrari, or, you know, they're not really a daily driver, you want to call it. Very, very temperamental cars. They're hand-built, exotic, millions of dollars. I'm not trying to compare this old bomber to that. But you can read that GM considered this their halo car. What does that tell you? And this is, you know, 3-year, 30,000 mile warranty. Wrap your head around that back then. Anybody that's old enough to remember, if you're watching my channel, watching me work on this car back in 1989, you know, 3 years, 30,000 miles. And this was $28,000 back then. I mean, That's, quite a chunk of change. Yeah, you parked it in the garage. You didn't abuse it. Oh boy. I wish I had remembered this. I was so wrapped up in, let me take the other one next to it out. There we go. I got a whole bag of these, the nice ones, better than these. This is broken. But this is what I'm talking about. It's got like a middle piece you got to pull up, and then you can pop it out. Oh, just put a screwdriver under there. Yeah, sure. In a perfect world, I got a big bag of 100 of the way better. They just push in, Christmas tree end, not just a locking kind like that. That's garbage. Especially something like this, you don't want it to lock together too hard. That's how it breaks. I was extremely lucky when this one let go the way it did. The head of it, there we go. The head of it pulled through the hole because, this is tougher than the plastic around it, but the plastic's really tough too, so it just kind of went blip. If it had been a larger area with like a nut and bolt, it would have just ripped the whole rear end out. Okay, now we can see how much. I should get my laser out here. Just a regular laser pointer. That'll tell me how much more I would have to go on this. Let's see. This looks like it's pushed in still. Yeah, it is. Right there. I gotta get my marker. Maybe. I don't know, let me see here. We get those concrete blocks again. Okay, this was pushed in right here too. Right at the weld where the seam sealer is. Yeah, I gotta get a magic marker and throw the blocks back in and bend that a little bit more. Just like yesterday. So, I shall be back. Okay, got the magic marker. I put the blocks in here already, off camera. See how yesterday I was here looking down this way. So now I'm on this side looking, and I can see very easily now why this hole's not lined up. It's lined up right now, but if you put this back where it belongs, looking at the light and the whole edge of the bumper, and there's a line right there where it used to sit. You can see that is off, and it's off right here. Now that's going in the wrong way there. I must have pushed it a little bit too much there. I noticed too that this trunk, it looks like it got moved a little bit. but it looks like it's it's hard to put into words. You can see where it moved, but it moved it moved this way, but it didn't touch the trunk, which leads me to believe that this panel right here is what got moved. And yeah, you can tell around the washers where the paint line, where the fastener used to be, and now it's moved over a little bit. So that's one more thing to watch out for. I'm very, very leery about the attachment points of this taillight module. Yeah, whoa, yeah, this is really obvious right here. Okay. When I go to put the new taillight module in, if it's not lined up properly, you put it under tension, tightening the wing nuts. You could easily fracture the whole damn thing. They're all best case scenario. I talked about this last time. I don't know if they made them all at once in 1987. They began making them and just kept making them, or were they built year to year? Because they're all the same, and they only went from 88 to 91. So I had to look into that. Were they built all at once, and then we just build the cars and throw them on? That is possible. So let's say 87. How long does it take to make 22,000 of them? Well, you're making so many a year to have extras. The extras are all gone too. All the new old stock is gone. You can't buy new ones anymore. They went for thousands of dollars, the last ones. I looked up eastcoastreatoparts.com. I'll put the link in the description under this video. I found the link, eastcoastreatoparts.com, and Mark used to have those two reflectors that go on the taillight module, $600 a piece when they were brand new. Imagine that. That's how rare. They only made whatever, and that was it. $600 a pair. New old stock, wrapped in plastic, never used. I was like, what? Holy crap! And they don't even have any more anyway. You get all out of them. So that's how cars are, man. If you want parts for your exotic car, well, good luck. Okay, I say okay too much. Nobody's ever told me that, but I can imagine what I do. God, how did I let this go yesterday? I couldn't tell this was bowed up. I was so happy that I got it to move mostly back into place. And I was looking at it from one direction, which kind of limits the whole thing. I gotta put it down on the block more. It starts to walk up. What I'm doing here is very unorthodox, but not unheard of. People have been using things like this to repair their car bodies ever since way before I was a kid. That's where the term shade tree mechanic came from. Yeah, people park under an old elm tree or maple tree or something hard, oak tree. Throw a chain up over a big limb, yank out the engine, transmission, out of the elements. Of course, you gotta forget about the the bugs falling out of the tree. Like this tree right here, black walnut. Ants love that. Under the bark and everything. It's all part of the ecosystem. And there's tiny ants all over your cars. You can't help it. So, don't have a convertible around here. Plus you don't mind ants. I love ants. They're awesome. Very industrious little creatures. Okay, this is where it was. I wish I had something to pull this piece of metal up. There's like another piece of metal that where the holes are that's welded to the other piece of metal, and it's been pushed back a little bit. I tried to pry it out the best I could last night, but there's just nothing to grab onto. I would have to take it off and on an anvil or something and hammer it back and then put it back on and re-weld it, and no, I'm not going through all that. If I had a shop, maybe, yeah, it'd be easy to just take off the seam sealer and just run a cutter down and zip, bend it back and weld it back on, throw the seam sealer on, that's it. That's all cars are, just a bunch of pieces, like a big puzzle. It's not off that much. And the mounting hole, this one's gonna come back in. I gotta get my, let's see, where's it? Alright. I know I didn't. Be back in 1 second. Just walk around the car. Okay, got my little sledgehammer. Wrap a rag around it. I could go inside and get a body hammer if I want to. I'm not going back inside right now. That one's going to come out a little bit, and then that side. And I can hit the heat gun on the plastic, that should just pop back into shape. It's not really even creased. It's just warped. If plastic is creased, that'll make a weak place. The same thing with metal. It'll make a weak place. And then, okay, yeah, that's, and then, it'll rip or tear or fracture or whatever at that place. Captain Obvious. Okay, yeah, this is the, wow, what a difference. This is the corner that I didn't even touch yesterday. I got the blocks up on a rubber mat in the trunk, so they won't move too much. See that? Oh yeah. Oh, that's right out there. Look at that now. Yes. Beautiful. Now this just has to come up a little bit. I'm not sure how to... Jeez, there's no way to go from the bottom because of the bumper cover. Let me try the crowbar again. And that's in the house. Yeah. It's not really nothing to try on anyway. Well, it's not going to be perfect again. I don't have a cheap easy liner at the shop, but at least now the tail light will be lined up with the rear of the car. That's way better. Wow. All right, now this has to, that has to come down. It's very obvious. There goes the heat gun. Let's see here. Something like a drift would be nice. Let's see. Mama woodchuck over there chewing on something, looking at me. She's a big old woodchuck too. Like, oof, been here for years. Oh, there you go. Knock that right back down. Beautiful. Wow. Holes lined up beautifully. Mama woodchuck. What are you doing? She had babies a couple of years ago, 3 of them. They're so cute. You can hold them in your hand. They're like this. Just, they're so cute walking around, rooting around with Mama. Okay, while this is under pressure, get my heat gun. Harbor Freight Drill Master heat gun. Put it on low. Now we'll try high for a minute. Gotta put like, ow, negative pressure on it, you know? So when it bounces back and cools down, it'll go closer than if you didn't put any pressure on it. Not just the accident, but years, you know, it's 4 years later, being out in the heat here in the parking lot and stuff. So it kind of froze in that position. Oh yeah. You don't want to do it till it's gummy, but you do want some pliability to it. Elasticity, pliability, no, pliability, yeah, you don't want to pull on it. But you do want it to go back to where it was. And generally, molded polyethylene, that's what this is, it usually wants to go back, it's got a little bit of a memory. It wants to go back where it was. You just got to remember the entire area, you know, not just one place. And nothing hit this. It hit the tail light module. And because that's right there, it just pushed the whole thing back. So, one of the ridiculous expensive unattainium parts of this car gets ruined. You might as well just total the car. This thing's had better days. A few years of use. I try to not use any kind of flame if I'm using heat shrink for wiring. If you get it too hot, it tends to temper it and crack it. Or like the kind I use now with the glue in it, heat shrink with the glue. If it gets it too hot, the glue just bubbles out and makes a huge mess. It's not even worth it, you know. Just use a heat gun. I even got the power probe, you know, butane soldering iron, and it comes with a little nozzle attachment, and that's just hot air. That's really hot air, but at least it's not flames. There's no reason to cook your heat shrink like this. It just weakens it. It just tempers it. Makes it crack. Makes the glue come out. You need to catch on fire. Yeah, here we go, mosquito. How's that? Like 600 fucking degrees? Scumbag. Oh, I hate mosquitoes. It's the one thing you want to eradicate is mosquitoes, but mosquitoes only have two predators. A dragonfly and a bat. Those are the only two other creatures on this planet that eat mosquitoes exclusively. You know. So you see dragonflies all over. That's beautiful. You want to get rid of mosquitoes? Introduce dragonflies. They don't bite you. They don't eat your crops. They don't do anything. They're not bad. Bats, that's a living, you know, it's mammal, you know, a little different, and they bite and stuff like that, and diseases, and there's no diseases with a dragonfly. Nothing. They don't bite. They don't hurt you. They're not pest. They're not a pestilence. Just an innocent little, beautiful little bug. We have tried to mimic over the years. Not many creatures, like a hummingbird maybe, but can, you know, go back and forth and stuff like that. I can go into all kinds of details about how beautiful dragonflies are. They don't carry disease. They don't spread disease. They don't bite you. They don't eat crops. Not like a locust or something like that. Their major diet is mosquitoes. Other little flying bugs, you know, they get them in midair. In the insect world, boy, a dragon mosquito earns its name. I mean, a dragonfly earns its name. They're very much a predator. Very, very much a predator. Yeah, this metal part has to come up. I don't have any way around that. I don't know if I can use. Geez, I just don't know what to use. I'm not a body man. This isn't the kind of video where I got all these followers watching me either. You know, hey, put it in the comments. You know, what can I do? I try to not do that. It's kind of cliche, you know. I feel better today than I did yesterday. Yesterday I was just so tired and worn out in the heat. I was out here for hours. I don't realize it. That's not gonna. Let me see what this is doing. Now, if the damn blocks will quit moving. Actually, no. I'll reposition this one. Let me see here. Pushing this out's all done. I don't want to warp it the other way. This one piece right here has it's kind of close, but if this is anchored down with the pen, it'll make it lift up. So this has to come up more. There's no place to put a slide hammer on it. There's no place to jack it up from underneath. I mean, that would be ideal. It's right next to the, yeah, let me try that. It's right next to the exhaust pipe. I don't have anything to push on. These little things like that, you know. Let me see a piece of cardboard. Hey, a Rock Auto Parts box. Oh, where do you get those at? only got about 100 of those laying around. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's better. Yeah, the parts for my car, you know, years ago, I bought things when you could buy them. After 2020, supplies dried up. People, you know, hung around working on their cars, putting money into it. Aftermarket parts dried up. The whole market's just beginning again. But there is no real, you know, Buick Riata aftermarket parts. Let's see, that's going to be way too much. That's too much too. Gotta find some kind of drift I can put between there, between the jack and the piece of metal I gotta push up. Use a cold chisel. That should direct the force where I need it. Oh yeah, I couldn't do this a few years ago. Okay, that was right there. All right. I don't think I'm going to have any room to... Shit. No, this was a good idea. But... Wait, underneath here is icky. Nah, there's not even a way to get up in there. It's only off like half an inch. It's not even worth it. If I had the means, you know, a better operation here, then yeah, you know, easily. Alrighty then. I'm just really leery about putting that module in here and tightening things up. See, this is where it flex right here. See, if I put the push pin down there to hold that to the metal, now it's actually crooked. If I bend the metal up where it goes, and the hole will even line up better. This back panel is different. The metal that I'm worried about right now is actually a piece welded to it like this. I got to lift it up like this a little bit because it got pushed down. I'm just going to do some brainstorming here, think about what's going on. Even though I'm crunched on time, I don't want to rush something and irreparably damage something, you know, it's not worth it. Oh, it's getting really humid. I think we're getting ready to get poured on again. we've had some good rain this year. Not like other years, but it hasn't been dry either, so. Generally, if we get a lot of rain during the year, you're going to have a heavy wet winter too, because the lakes are filled up and the water is warmer, so it evaporates easier. My anti-wrecking crew. Thinking. Yeah, no more heat gun, no more pushing. And things like that. I don't even know what time it is. Let's see what time it is. About 10 of 6. Okay. Yep. This, damn. You can even see where it bent. The paint flecked off. I really don't want to take this whole piece off. I mean, it does come off easy, which is the clips. Then I could pull that back out then. Yeah, let me see if... I don't think there's any more clips than just that. It's got to be out like that to be level where it was. Where's that marker? Mark on the metal where it ought to be. Because I'm considering pulling the Reliance off. That's where the hole ought to be. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna put new clips in. I got a whole bag of them. I just gotta pull this off right here. I shouldn't have to pull the entire thing off just to gain excess. See, and these kind are antiquated anyway. You gotta take the whole thing out, the whole pin. This is one that's not broken. You take the whole pin out, and then you can pop this out, hopefully. It's got like a little ridge there. You can just like leave it right there, you know, in a perfect world. But 30-something years ago. Ouch, ouch. I'm pulling the hair out of my finger. Oh, let's see here. All right. That's what that nut is right there, which I'm not going to bother with rusted hardware like that. Okay, I'm just trying to see how much I can gain access to everything here. You know what? I gotta go get my fan, keep the bugs off. I'll be right back in a minute. Okay, I had to pause the recording there for a little while. My landlord was here. Just looking at things, checking on me. Make sure I'm not crushed under the car. Garth is a good dude, man. I mean, he's, gracious enough to allow me to work on my car. I'm not going to complain. One of these days in the near future, before I got this car, it was in Hartford, Connecticut, at a body shop called Byron's Auto. That's who I bought it from. It was just in a lot, and going to the junkyard, nobody wanted it. Had all kinds of problems, and they didn't realize about the trunk, They couldn't make the pass-through unlock, and they tried to jam, thinking it was a mechanical lock, jam something into the key lock, which is just this where the key goes. That would be called a normally open momentary switch. You put the key in, turn it. It puts battery voltage, it just crosses the wires, the loop, puts battery voltage to the solenoid that's on the trunk lid, unlocks the trunk. Nobody knew that, and the molding was all torn from people trying to get a coat hanger in there or some, who knows, I'm lucky to even have this car. I guess some moron people don't even know what the hell they're doing, start breaking things. So, I'm the third owner, and maybe the last, who knows. On the shape that it's in right now, if all of a sudden I was to pass away or something, it would just go to the junkyard. Nobody's willing to do the work I am. And that's a shame. But that's how people are. They don't want to know, they don't want to know nothing. All they want is quick and convenient, and right now, newest and greatest. The newest model, keep up with the Joneses. It's not even about function nowadays. It's all about looks, even with people. There I go, waxing philosophically again. I've always been what's called a people watcher. Except nowadays I don't go to the mall and watch people. I don't interact with GQ public every day like I did for 40-something years. Places I worked at. Well, people don't change. You got good and bad everywhere you go. Doesn't matter what color or race or religion. There's dirt bags everywhere you go. There's good people everywhere you go. Listen to the words of Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder, Ebony and Ivory. It's a beautiful song. People would say, oh, that's too corny. No, it's a very beautiful song. They got the keys on the piano. Yeah. Black and white. Ebony and Ivory. Yeah. High-priced pianos, yeah. The black key was ebony, a precious stone. And the white keys were made out of ivory from either blue whales or the tusk of a elephant. The real, you know, ridiculously priced grand pianos. I gotta pay attention to where I put my tools. I don't put them back in the wrong place. All of a sudden I'm looking for it, like, what the hell? Oh, I got bites on my back. Oh. Oh, look at that. Oh, that closes way better now. Yeah, the lines are lined up again. Very nice. Yeah, the shocks in the trunk are like brand new. They act like the ones under the hood I just replaced. It'll lift up, kind of. But they're like brand new. I haven't used them. Alrighty, time for some rust reformer around all this exposed areas. You can tell every one of the attachment holes where the bolt goes through the metal. I did that already years ago. You can see my old video, the original taillight module that I refurbished. I just pulled it apart and cleaned it. I didn't even really polish the lens. It wasn't that bad. I tried to polish it the best I could. I really didn't have any equipment like I do now. But I barely had a bullshit electric drill back then in 2011 when I bought this car. Had a lot of problems going on in my personal life, and I retired and used my 401k to help buy this car, and I retired, and that was it. I was going to work on it little by little, just as a hobby, and all of a sudden things went downhill in my personal life. When my wife passed away, I got really ill, almost died twice. That's what happens when you're morbidly obese. It's going to catch up with you. I gotta turn my air off. Okay. This is all hidden behind the taillight anyway. What the hell? Oh, jeez. I'm talking about old videos. They happen to push something on my photos. And the pictures of years ago when I come on, darn it. Years ago when I first got this, I did all this whatever I could to it to get it to run and drive and everything, you know. Yeah, there's no real rust or anything back here. I just don't want it to begin. You know what I mean? Nip it in the bud. Prevention. Like the carpet is over this. Out of sight, out of mind. Places where the paint came off because of the rust coming from the damn donut tire wheel. You go to junkyards when I was a kid, it wouldn't take long back then, you know, the cars. You'd always, you know, when they had the tire in the trunk in the well like that, water gets in, water egress, or ingress they call it, yeah. Ingress. Goes around this steel rim of the wheel and just sits there and corrodes the hell out of it. I've seen actual, like my 77 Cutlass when I got it, around the spare tire that no one had ever taken out the entire life of the car, right from the factory. And there was a hole as big as the wheel. In the trunk. Yeah, that kills that. Awesome. So I'll let that gas off the rest of the night. But I am going to close this down. Not lock it though. Whew. Oh, instant relief. My back is chewed up pretty good. Look at all the vapors coming off of it. Your trunk's on fire. Ugh. Put a whole can back here. Everywhere and anywhere. The whole perimeter and the floor. That's the structural integrity of the whole thing, you know? That rubbing on that? It was though. Yeah, when it happened, the metal trunk lid hit the plastic. This trunk is so heavy. They didn't get cheap with the sheet metal with these cars. That's for sure. The Buick Riata, when they built them, they It used electrolytic primer, they call it. It's dipped. Dipped in a tank of primer that's electrified. Theory behind that is it makes it stick better. A lot like what we do powder coating today. Same thing. Static electricity makes it cling better. I'm going to leave this open so a little later I'll come out and just nudge it down. Oh boy. So what's next? Yeah, boy, that came out. So lucky with that. So you put the push pins on there. I wish I could push that back better without pushing on the main back plate. I don't have any way to grab that though. I off camera when I had it off, I was actually trying to bend it with you know, channel locks and everything. Had it clamped on there, but there's just nowhere to. There's just nowhere to clamp onto. What are you gonna do? I'd have to take the actual panel piece of metal off and straighten it out, put it back on. But it's not even worth it because it's not off that much. Literally, maybe half an inch. If this was some kind of show car, yeah. But it's not. It's not. It's going to show me. That's what it's going to show. It's going to show me. Take the passenger seat out for all I care. What is that? Oh, it's a Torx, of course. I don't have any Torx bits here. So, oh, did I bring them? I don't think I did. Nope, this is all for the wiring. Yeah, that's all for the wiring. And now I know I'm going to bring this. I'll bring all that back in anyway. It's going to start raining here in a few minutes. I'm not going to wait until it does to rush everything inside. So, first things first is the camera. So we'll be saying goodnight for this. I'll give you a little walk around here. So this is the inside, all rust reformered. Can't say rust proof, but it's rust reformer. You know, just there's only a few places, a couple little places where the paint was peeling, but I just want to make sure that it doesn't migrate. Nothing's going back in here either, just the carpet, and that's it. That dumb electric antenna doesn't even work. That's coming out. And I had a piece of sheet metal coin to prop up in there, and bye-bye antenna. Useless crap. I don't listen to the radio anyway. I got a nice head unit for this, SD card and all that. So yeah, that's what all that looks like. Alrighty, folks. You have a good night. Here's the original color of this car. GM Hot Red, it was called. Yuck. I'm going for a little bit better red. All right, man. Bye-bye.
Hasta la vista.